I'm sure Caitlin Clark's about to make a lot of money.
She's earning her money right now.
No, Caitlin's balling right now.
This is our firstborn, Caitlin Clark. As you can see, she has the passing ability of Shoshana Bird. She has the pull-up, and she has the swaggy competitiveness of both of us. This is our love child.
Did you know that WNBA viewership shot up 600% when Caitlin Clark entered the league? That's insane. But you know what's even crazier? Some WNBA veterans are calling her success white privilege. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. What's really going on here? Is Caitlin Clark saving women's basketball or exposing its biggest problems?
Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport. She carried a heavy load for our sport. She's gonna lift that league up as well. So Caitlin Clark, if you're out there, you are one of the GOATs of our games, and we appreciate you.
Let's break it down and see why NBA legends are weighing in on this rookie sensation. You know what's crazy? The WNBA was struggling big time before Caitlin showed up. Picture this: empty arenas, TV ratings in the gutter, barely any buzz on social media. That was the WNBA's reality for years. Games were lucky to pull in a few thousand fans, and TV viewership, let's just say more people were probably watching paint dry. Then this Iowa girl comes along, and boom, everything changes overnight. Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, and suddenly the WNBA is the hottest ticket in town. We're talking record-breaking viewership that's absolutely wild. The Indiana Fever's season opener, it pulled in 2.4 million viewers.
Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. You know, I'm just kind of in this mode right now because I'm getting the same thing from watching my son, who's a 19-year-old, kind of getting a lot of animosity and hatred towards him when he's just a kid trying to live out his dream. I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing. I hope they do great. But it seems like everything is going to be great for her because she's a great talent. She seems like a great gal. And I hope she turns that franchise around to where, Tamika Catchings had it at one point.
That's not just good for the WNBA. That's good for any sports broadcast. Imagine this: arenas packed to the brim, with fans lined up around the block just hoping to catch a glimpse of Clark in action. Social media is going nuts over her plays, with highlight reels racking up millions of views. It's like the whole sports world suddenly remembered the WNBA exists, and they can't get enough of it. Clark's not just filling seats, she's changing the game. Her deep three-pointers and no-look passes are redefining what's possible in women's basketball. Fans who never gave the WNBA a second thought are now tuning in religiously, just to see what Clark will do next. But here's where it gets interesting. Not everyone's happy about all this attention. Some WNBA stars are actually mad about the spotlight Clark's hogging. You won't believe what they're saying about her. Some veterans are grumbling that Clark's getting special treatment, that the league is bending over backward to promote her at the expense of other players. There's talk of white privilege and accusations that the WNBA is playing favorites. Some players are wondering why they didn't get this kind of push when they were rookies. It's creating a real divide in the league, with some embracing the Clark effect and others resenting it. And you know what? It's not just players. Some fans are pushing back too, saying Clark's hype is overshadowing the accomplishments of WNBA legends. They're worried that all this focus on one player could hurt the league in the long run. So here we are, caught in the middle of a basketball revolution. Caitlin Clark's arrival has the WNBA buzzing like never before, but it's also stirring up some serious drama. Is this the shakeup women's basketball needed, or is it exposing deeper issues in the league? One thing's for sure: the WNBA will never be the same after Caitlin Clark. Drama in the WNBA, that's just the beginning. Picture this: NBA superstars, the guys who make millions and dominate SportsCenter, are suddenly talking nonstop about a college girl from Iowa. What's got them so worked up? Let's dive into what these legends are saying about Caitlin Clark. Trust me, some of these quotes are wild. You'd think these NBA guys would be too busy with their own careers to care about a WNBA rookie. But nope, they can't stop talking about Clark. We're not just talking about a few casual comments here and there, but we're talking full-on praise, comparisons to some of the game's greatest players, and even admissions that she might be better than them in some ways. Take Luka Doncic, for example. This guy is known for his insane shooting skills, right? Well, he straight up compared Caitlin Clark to himself and Steph Curry. But here's the kicker. Luka said, "She shoots it better than me." That's not just praise. That's a superstar admitting a WNBA rookie might have him beat in one of the most crucial aspects of the game. And it's not just Luka. Trae Young, another sharpshooter who's known for giving defenders nightmares, chimed in too. He broke down Clark's game, saying, "It's hard to defend her deep shots when she's so good with her driving ability." Young even pointed out a specific move in Clark's arsenal, her hang dribble, as something that's particularly tough for defenders to read. But why are these NBA stars so invested in Clark's game? It's not just about her skills. It's about the impact she's having on basketball as a whole. Sam Hauser of the Celtics put it best when he said, "Caitlin Clark is stealing the show of basketball, not only in the women's game, but also the men's game." That's huge. We're talking about a WNBA rookie who's not just changing women's basketball, she's changing how NBA players and fans view the sport altogether. Clark's game is so electrifying, so revolutionary, that it's forcing everyone to pay attention, regardless of gender. And you know what? This attention from NBA stars is doing wonders for the women's game. Every time a LeBron or a Steph tweets about Clark, millions of their followers are exposed to women's basketball. It's like free advertising for the WNBA, and it's helping to bridge the gap between the men's and women's leagues. But here's the thing. All this praise and attention isn't just rainbows and sunshine. It's stirring up some pretty intense debates behind the scenes. Some WNBA veterans are wondering why they never got this kind of recognition. Others are questioning if this level of hype is sustainable or if it's setting unrealistic expectations for Clark and the league. Forget the debates and the opinions for a second. What happens when we look at the raw data? Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA goes way beyond just highlights and hype. We're talking about a seismic shift in viewership, ticket sales, and merchandise that's never been seen before in women's basketball. Let's rewind to before Clark hit the scene. WNBA games were lucky to pull in a few 100,000 viewers. The league was struggling to grab attention, often overshadowed by other sports. But now, the numbers are off the charts. You ready for this? The 2024 WNBA draft, featuring Caitlin Clark as the star attraction, drew in a mind-blowing 2.45 million viewers. That's not just a little bump, it's a massive leap. To put that in perspective, this draft pulled in more eyeballs than the entire 2023 WNBA Finals, which averaged 728,000 viewers. We're talking about a rookie's draft night outshining the league's championship series. That's unheard of. But it doesn't stop there. Clark's impact on the court is just as impressive as her draw off it. Get this, she became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 250 points and 100 assists. That's not just Rookie of the Year material, that's potential Hall of Fame stuff right out of the gate. Now, let's talk tickets. You might want to sit down for this one. Clark's first playoff game? Tickets are going for more than what people paid to see the 2023 WNBA Finals. That's right, a rookie's playoff debut is commanding higher prices than the championship series from the previous year. It's like the whole sports world is scrambling to be part of history. This surge isn't just about Caitlin Clark the player, it's about Caitlin Clark the phenomenon. She's not just filling seats, she's creating a whole new market of WNBA fans. People who never gave women's basketball a second thought are now tuning in religiously, buying merchandise, and engaging with the league like never before. But here's the million-dollar question. Is all this attention good for the WNBA in the long run? On one hand, you've got unprecedented growth, skyrocketing viewership, and a new generation of fans getting hooked on the women's game. That's the kind of boost leagues dream about. On the other hand, there's the risk of putting all your eggs in one basket. What happens if Clark gets injured? or if she can't maintain this insane level of play. Is the WNBA setting itself up for a fall by banking so heavily on one player's star power? Forget about the numbers for a second. What if I told you Clark's biggest impact isn't in the stats, but in how she's forcing the entire league to evolve? We're talking about a rookie who's making seasoned pros look like they're playing a different sport. How is that even possible? Well, let's break it down. For years, the WNBA had a pretty set style of play. It was all about physicality, working the ball inside and playing a half-court game. But Caitlin Clark? She's blowing that playbook to smithereens. Picture this. Clark pulls up from way beyond the three-point line, launches a shot that has no business going in, and swish, nothing but net. Defenders are left scratching their heads, wondering how they're supposed to guard someone who can score from practically anywhere on the court. It's not just the long-range bombing, though. Clark's got a whole arsenal of moves that are making the WNBA look like a different game altogether. Her passing is on another level. We're talking no-look dimes that thread the needle between multiple defenders, behind-the-back passes in transition that hit teammates in perfect stride, and court vision that seems almost superhuman. It's like she's got eyes in the back of her head. But here's the real kicker. Clark isn't just putting up crazy numbers, she's changing how the entire game is played. The Indiana Fever, Clark's team, has completely revamped their style of play to take advantage of her skills. They're pushing the pace, spreading the floor, and letting Clark work her magic. It's a fast-paced, high-octane style that's more reminiscent of the men's game than traditional WNBA play. And guess what? It's working. Clark became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 250 points and 100 assists. That's not just good for a rookie, that's historic for any player in the league. She's not just adapting to the pro game, she's forcing the pro game to adapt to her. But here's where it gets really interesting. Other teams are starting to realize they can't just stick to their old ways if they want to keep up. Defenders are having to extend their range, guards are feeling the pressure to improve their long-range shooting and passing, and coaches are rethinking their entire offensive and defensive schemes. It's like Clark dropped a bomb in the middle of the WNBA, and now everyone's scrambling to pick up the pieces and figure out this new landscape. Some players and teams are embracing the change, excited about the possibilities it opens up. Others are struggling to keep up, finding their traditional skills less effective in this new Clark-inspired era of play. So here's the million-dollar question. Is the WNBA ready for this revolution? Can the league adapt quickly enough to this new style of play? Or will Clark's game-changing approach create a divide between those who can keep up and those who can't? One thing's for sure, women's basketball will never be the same after Caitlin Clark. Alright, let's wrap this up. Caitlin Clark isn't just another rookie making waves. She's a basketball tsunami, reshaping the entire landscape of the sport. We're talking about a player so electric, she's got NBA superstars watching and WNBA veterans sweating. But here's the real deal. The WNBA is at a crossroads. They can ride this Clark wave and potentially skyrocket the league to new heights, or they can resist and risk getting left behind. As WNBA legend Sue Bird put it, Clark isn't just a player, she's a pivotal figure who could change women's basketball forever. So what's it gonna be, WNBA? Embrace the Clark effect? Or fight it? One thing's for sure. Whether they like it or not, the game will never be the same after Caitlin Clark.